Alright everybody, welcome back to the KSR YouTube channel, where today's video is going to be another video on the KSR Cutlass. And you guys can tell I'm down here kind of late, it's kind of dark. Tuesday night here at the shop. I actually had to run home after hours to grab all my camera stuff because I've been editing my video from the Freedom 500 and it's a big edit. I have a lot of footage. I would assume that video is going to come out before this video, but you never know. You know, 4 different cameras, 3 on board, and then the 1 external camera, plus the guys took some cell phone videos and stuff. And it takes a while because the way my editing system works, I have to load all of them into the editor before I can even trim them at all. So I have to load in, process, takes forever. Anyway, you guys don't care about all that. We're gonna work on the Cutlass and make some more bars. Had to take a week off because, you know, we were thrashing to get the burnout car ready, which unfortunately I think snapped the head off of the number 8 exhaust valve, and all that work kind of just got chucked out the window. So we're gonna put some bars in this, and I gotta decide which bars that's gonna be. All right, well, like I said, we're gonna put some more bars into this thing today, and I gotta decide if that's going to be the bar that's going to connect. Like, I want to triangulate from basically right about where that mark is. I don't know if you guys can see that mark. That's where I had the idea of doing the door bars, because that will end up being below it'll end up being below where the top of the door is. Kind of like the way that should look. And obviously we've got the main hoop hidden directly behind the B-pillar in the car, so that's going to work out really well. And I'm going to probably, like, that ought to be a fairly easy bar to make. You know, it's straight. I think I'm going to just land it on the flat pad there. Oh, my finger was blocking it. So that flat pad, it's kind of in the shadow, but that will even further triangulate that. I definitely need to decide on how I'm going to do some more of the rear bars, and I have to, you know, think some of this through, because off of this bar there's going to be a bar that comes up kind of over the rear end and then dips down under the trunk floor and then goes to the very back where there will be a cross member back there. The rear frame rails will get cut off right after the wheel tub, because that's all we have to have stock frame wise to meet some of the class rules that we're going to try and make this car meet. But the other option is to do something with you know, like the roof and the A-pillar and maybe dash bar type stuff. And then we can even maybe triangulate into there. So with these higher or lower ET chassis specs, all the way down to even an 850 chassis spec, because I've certified some cars like this, you can actually have the dash bar interrupt the A-pillar bar. So if you imagine a bar going from there to there to there. Now, 2 bends, you know, no big deal. But where the issue comes in and life gets a little more difficult when it comes to bending these bars, you've got that bar there, which, you know, I'm going to try and tuck it to where, let's see if we can get up in here and show it. So what I want to do is tuck, I'm going to end up trimming these little tabs off. This was for the factory trim, for the headliner trim. Years ago, I had plasma cut that out because I was planning on putting that back in. Well, we're not doing that anymore. Let's see if I can get wiggled around in here. We're not doing that anymore. So what I may end up doing is a little trim here. And then, so this will have a little bit of angle on it. So you've got one angle there. And then now you're coming down here, and then this angle has to kick out to then come down to meet the dash bar, and then it's got to change direction again so that your angle ends up coming straight down to land on the bar there. So the more we can do to simplify, and actually I see I need to finish welding this before I do anything here, because once I land a bar right there, we will no longer be able to weld that. So I need to weld that first. There's step one for today. And what we are going to do, or what I am going to do today, is I think I'm going to come up from there just to a dash bar. And part of me tying the body together, and this is the same style attachment, yeah, let's say attachment, as that I've done on Steve and Val Morris's car. Yep, I've put some work in on that too. Haven't filmed a lot of it because it was kind of nitpicky stuff, but I'll put together a video on that hopefully next week, middle of the week, I think. We'll see how that all works out. But I've got a lot of editing to do. This video, Freedom 500 video, Soccer Mom video. I'm supposed to be cranking up Grant's Corvette, hopefully very soon. Kind of waiting on Grant to come down and do some programming on it. But anyways, so what I did on Steve's car is there's a hole where I put a bolt through from outside the car. And then there's a spacer, like an aluminum spacer. And the reason there needs to be an aluminum spacer is because where this dash bar ends has to be narrower than this right here. Because if we are going to take the body off to powder coat all of the frame, no part of the cage can be wider than, you know, this door jamb area. And I have made about a 1/2 inch exception to that right here. This point right here is about a 1/2 inch wider than the frame down here. But what we've been able to do is just kind of push the body out. And we may be able to do that up here some, but with the firewall being right here, this won't spread out. So, you know, we've got to do some work, do some estimating, square the body up. And or what I may do is just go ahead and make this bar, like just cut a straight dash bar, measure it up. I can machine an insert like I did on Steve's. That's basically a solid insert that is threaded, you know, 3/8 fine thread or 1/2 inch fine thread. I think I used 1/2 inch fine thread on Steve's car. And that will allow me to bolt the body up here, which is good because it's, you know, right close to where all the door hinges are going to attach, and you want that to be good and sturdy. We may even work on this area a little bit more to grind some of this mess out, because it's a mess. We got to fix that. Yeah, but got to fix this down here too. But once we do all of that, then like I said, we'll be able to take the body off and go have the main part of the chassis powder coated. And that just, it looks so nice. And if you've ever painted a roll cage, I don't care how hard you try, there's gonna be a spot you miss. And that's just frustrating. you know, I've seen some really, really good looking paint jobs on some roll cages, and huge props to those guys, because it is tough to really get the paint everywhere, and especially if you're using any kind of color, any metallic color, which maybe we're gonna try and do. It's really hard to get the paint wrapped all the way around the bar, but then also have it even so that the color looks good and it's not, you know, brighter silver in one spot, you know, because of the metal flake. So I'm just kind of rambling, but I'm just telling you, it's hard to really get a good paint job. And if you're painting it with a gun, most likely you're base coat clear coating it. So you want it to look really, really nice. But in my opinion, not only is powder coat stronger, but if I take it to somebody to have it powder coated, they're used to doing stuff like that, the people we use, and so far we've had really good luck with their powder coating. But if they were to miss a spot, the guy that I use for powder coating is like, bring it back and I'll fix it. So that's kind of nice, you know. I've always, a friend of my dad's years ago told me, you get paid to do what you're really good at, and then pay somebody else to do what they're good at. Something that's always kind of stuck with me. You know, it's kind of, it's smarter to work that way, because somebody that's really good at powder coating, I don't know how to powder coat. I could probably figure it out, but this guy that I use, he's really good at powder coating and is gonna do me a good job powder coating, just like he's gonna do on Steve and Valerie's car, which hopefully will be down there pretty soon. I'm not gonna show you. I'm not even gonna show you that side of the shop, because there's some things that are visible. Sorry, Steve, if you're watching. We're gonna get there. But anyways, I need to drag a welder over here, do some welding down in here, and basically get to work, because I'm not getting anything done sitting here talking to you guys. Let's get to work. All right, well, now that we've got the tubing notched, as you saw in the end of the time lapse there, I have got it kind of mocked up in the car here. And a few people, actually quite a few people, were asking where I got these magnetic adjustable holder deals. Those are from Centurial. Centurial. I'll put a link in the description. Yeah, if I remember by the time I get to editing this video. Hopefully if I don't put a link in the description, remind me about it, and I'll put a link in the comments. Yeah. But this is basically what we're going for. I got a little bit of trimming left to do on that side. Although, seeing it mocked up in there with this straight up and down, I might be having a change of design. I see this hole here, and that might actually be pretty useful. So I could land, you know, my spacer, and just so we're clear, this bar is exactly as wide as the inside of this frame over to the inside of this frame. So it's not any wider where we're gonna have a problem getting the body on and off once we go to powder coat. But I had thought that, you know, I was kind of looking at the bar coming down, and maybe it kind of goes just ahead of that, just ahead of that hole right there. So what I could do with my lathe, the insert that I make for the bar, I could offset the threaded hole in that so that I could maybe make it work out a little different, or I just make longer ones of these and bring the bar back at an angle, so then when the A-pillar bar comes down, it's kind of lining up straight with that thing, that hole there. And what I'm really intending to do is I want to keep my A-pillar bar tucked really close here, and I may even make a filler piece or something. Don't know. My old roll cage that we had, literally the bar tucked right in here, and that took a lot of shots to get it right. But if I do that, this right here ends up being wider than the rails down there, and you have to spread the body, and it made it a giant pain in the butt to get the body off back in the day when I took the body off of my original 25.3 chassis. So, you know, I've got a little bit of thinking to do, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. It's been a few hours in here, late, like I said, on Tuesday night, and maybe I will have an update on the end of this video from later in the week, or maybe I will have just focused on getting my Freedom 500 video done instead of working on this week. Tell you what, editing is the least favorite part of YouTubing. You know, and I'm not complaining. It's part of the gig when you sign up to really push YouTube stuff. Editing is a requirement, obviously, for doing YouTube videos. So anyways, that's the basic gist we're looking to do here. You can see the bar lands really nice and tight. Let's get the flashlight. Bar lands really nice and tight down there in the corner. Nice and pretty. We'll weld up the frame on the outside just like we did back there. And you know, we're gonna take another shot at this. I think the more I think about it, I think it just makes sense to line up with that one. So anyways, that's gonna wrap up this video. Appreciate everybody watching, subscribing, following along, commenting down there in the comment section, and we'll see you guys next time.